Hey guys, so I've never done a sit down video before, but this one was very important. So I vlogged all day yesterday and I showed you guys my whole day beginning to end, driving to school, coming home from radio, and not long after I turned the camera off from coming home from radio, something happened. I was so terrified at this, and I'm like still shook from it, and it's still bothering me here. So basically what was happening was that I was driving home from radio and I was getting kind of close to this guy. You could consider it tailgating him because we all had to merge into two lanes. It was 3 lanes and it was merging into 2 lanes. So in order for me to get into that lane on time and not be in the median, I had to get over, and so I had to get over really closely to him, and I was tailgating him for a little bit. He then pulled next to me, and he was on the right side of the truck that I was driving, and he was like, roll your window down, roll your window down, and I thought something was wrong with the vehicle. So I rolled my window down, and he was like, you need to watch your driving. And so I just rolled my window back up. I was like, I don't have time for petty road rage drivers right now. I'm trying to go home. I was exhausted. You guys saw, I was so tired. I just wanted to go home and sleep. And so I just rolled my window back up, and he continued to get next to me. Like, I would drive away trying to get out of the situation because I know you're supposed to like get away from road rage drivers. So I was just trying to like drive and not pay attention to him, and he kept screaming at me, like with his window down, my window was up, and I was just shocked at like how upset he was that I was tailgating him for a little bit to get into this lane. And then I'm here, and this is his car. It's a red Jeep, and he literally comes into my lane like this and forces me to get over, and he's like diagonal in front of me, so I'm forced to stop. So now I'm like, oh my god, I almost just died in an accident because I had to swerve into another lane as well, and if there would have been a car there, like I would have been into another car. It would have been a pile up in the middle of a really busy road, and it was so scary. And I just remember being like I had no idea what to do. It was so terrifying. So then he gets out of his car, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm dying, I'm dying, I'm dying. Like, this is the end of my life. He's gonna kill me right now. Like, he's a crazy road rage driver. And so he comes up to my window, and he's like, roll your window down, roll your window down. And I'm like, no, no. Like, I said no so many times. It was so terrifying. I just kept shaking my head no. So then I like grab my phone and I start dialing like for my dad. In that moment I was like, do I call the police or do I call my dad? Like, do I just say, Dad, like there's this crazy guy and he's like yelling at me to roll my window down. As I grab my phone, he runs to his car and grabs his phone. And I'm like, okay, we didn't get in an accident. Why are you grabbing your phone? Like, what's happening? And at that point I was kind of scared. When he went to go run for his phone, I thought maybe he was running for like something in his car, like a gun. And so then I was like really shaking. And then when my dad answered, I woke him up from sleeping because it's 11 o'clock at night coming home from radio. And so my dad answered and was like, hello. And right as my dad answered, the guy was outside my window and he said, I'm a state trooper. And I was like, do I roll down the window? Do I not roll down the window? Like, what happens here? So I rolled down the window because I was like, do I have to obey to you? Like, he wasn't in uniform. He wasn't in a police car. He didn't show me a badge. None of those things. Never gave me a name. But when he said I'm a state trooper, I was like, I think I have to listen to him for some reason. So I rolled my window down, and my dad heard the whole conversation. I turned my dad on speaker, and he was like, you need to watch your driving. You were tailgating me, and you were tailgating another lady, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I don't understand how you can do this when you're not on duty. And he goes, I'm on duty 24/7. And I was like, okay. Like, I was so shocked. I had no words. I didn't know what to do. And he's like, continues talking, and I'm like, Dad, are you hearing this? My dad's like, yes. And my dad thought he was a uniform officer in a state trooper car, and he was not at all. So my dad was like kind of mad at me for talking to him like this, but I was like, no, he's not wearing anything, not showing me a badge, nothing like that. So it was so crazy. And then he was like, do you want me to come write you a ticket right now? And I was like, for what? Like, what did I even do? He's like, I'll have someone come give you a ticket in the morning. And I was like, how will you even find me in the morning? And it was just so crazy. And I was like, I don't understand how you're yelling at me for tailgating someone when you just literally pulled into my lane and almost caused a major car pile up. Like, there were so many cars behind us. I'm sure everyone that was behind us was probably freaking out. And the whole time I was just so like scared and shaking, and I literally thought it could have been the end of my life. At one point he like put put his hand down by his side, and I thought maybe he was reaching for a gun then too. Like, obviously if you're a state trooper, you've probably got a concealed carry, and I was like, this could easily be the end of my life. Like, he's clearly out of his mind, and I know I shouldn't be tailgating people, but like, honestly, that was way extreme for something so small that I know someone's tailgating me. Like, I just blow it off. I just, like, no one's like that extreme, and it was so scary. So then I don't even know how I got him to go away. I think when I said, like, how can you do that when you pull into my lane and almost cause an accident, that's kind of when he got quiet. I rolled my window up, and I was like still on the phone with my dad, and I was so like still shaky, and I tried to keep driving, and I couldn't keep driving. I was like just out of it. So I pulled into like a car dealership parking lot to kind of calm down. My dad was like, was he in uniform? And I was like, no. Did he give you his name? No. Did anything happen? Like, no, he didn't tell me anything, didn't show me a badge, nothing. So I thought it was so scary and random, and I was like, is he even a state trooper? Like, in those situations, how would you ever know if he doesn't show a badge? And he's like, oh, I'm on duty 24/7, and I'm like, no, because that's your personal car and you're wearing normal human clothes. Like, so scary. Now I'm kind of okay about it, but I came home last night and I was still really shaken up, and I just couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I was like picturing this guy almost hitting me in my car. Like, so scary. My legs were shaking, like I couldn't drive because my legs were shaking, so I had to like sit and kind of calm myself down for a little bit. After such a long day that I'd had yesterday, and just being so busy with school and stuff, that was like the end of it for me. I lost it. I was crying, and I came home, my dad was like, are you okay, blah blah blah, and I was like, yeah, I'm just really shaken up. Like, I thought that easily could have been the end of my life. So I don't know if this is considered a clickbait video, but I will probably title it, I almost died, because that was what I was feeling in that moment. I was so scared, and it was such a strange thing. And then all day today I was like kind of nervous driving, and I just have never seen anything like that before. I was at an intersection, basically, like, because I had pulled into a turning lane that was at an intersection, and so I think there's cameras on that, and I think we might try and do something. I searched state troopers, and I might have found a guy that kind of looks similar to him, except this guy's bald, and in the picture that I found online, he's not bald. So maybe. I really am like just so shaken up from it, and I just don't see how that's okay. It absolutely blew my mind. And yeah, that is it for today's little sit down talk video. I hope you guys had a way better day than I did on Thursday, and I think this video will be going up on Sunday. So I love you all, and I will see you in the next makeup tutorial that will be coming up this next weekend. I love you so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye!